Ever feel like you were meant to do something, really make a difference? Like your calling is something with a little more impact.
Hmm.
Well, buckle up because today's deep dive is right into the world of mental health support work.
Yeah, yeah.
And let me tell you, this RoleCatcher guide is eye-opening. They are not messing around.
It's more than just a job, right? You're
Yeah.
guiding, you're supporting people, helping them on their journey to, well, mental wellness.
Totally. And this guide jumps right into the heart of it. The way it talks about support workers, it's like they are crucial, essential every step of the way.
It's about empowering people, giving them the tools to, like, navigate their own recovery. You're there for them.
Which is amazing, but the guide doesn't sugarcoat things either. It sounds like being ready for some pretty intense situations. Emotional distress is a biggie. It's just part of the deal.
Yeah, it's real. You're with people going through some tough stuff, constantly exposed to their struggles. Self-care in this field,
Yeah.
it's not a luxury, it's survival. You need your own ways to stay strong, you know? Well,
Otherwise, you'll burn out.
exactly.
And speaking of realities, the whole low pay, no growth thing that people associate with mental health support, the guide tackles that head on. What's the deal with that?
Well, like most fields, you got to start somewhere.
All right.
And yeah, the guide admits those starting salaries might not be as high as, say, some fancy medical specialties,
Right.
but, and this is key, the potential to grow is there.
Hmm.
If you're passionate, dedicated long-term, there's a path upwards.
Okay, so how do you climb that ladder then? What actually gets someone to those higher levels?
Think of it like building your expertise one step at a time. You begin with your bachelor's degree.
Right.
Then you layer on those specializations, maybe a master's in counseling, psychology, something like that. You could even go all the way, become a licensed clinical social worker. Doors open with those credentials, higher pay, more responsibility, the whole 9 yards.
So you're building, leveling up, right. But the guide seems to stress it's not just about those degrees and titles, yeah? There's a human side to this that's just as, if not more, important.
100%. You can have all the textbook knowledge in the world, but if you can't connect with another person on their level, well, the whole thing falls apart.
Right, it's about empathy, really getting where they're coming from. In fact, the guide mentions social perceptiveness. What does that even look like in this line of work?
It's like having a sixth sense, but for emotions. Remember, you're dealing with folks who are going through it, right? Sometimes they can't even put into words.
Yeah.
Social perceptiveness is about picking up on what they don't say, those unspoken cues, reading between the lines.
Interesting. It's like tuning into their frequency almost to really understand their experience.
That's it. And from that understanding, that connection, comes trust. And that's the foundation, the bedrock of any successful therapy, any helping relationship.
And that makes me think, how does technology play into all of this? Because the guide talks about telemedicine, which is huge right now. But how does that change how mental health support workers actually DO their jobs?
It's a two-way street, honestly. On the one hand, you're reaching people who might never get help otherwise. Rural areas, people with mobility issues. Telemedicine breaks down those walls. But
There's always a but.
it makes that social perceptiveness thing a whole lot trickier.
Because you're not in the room with them, you lose some of those subtle cues, right? Trying to read someone's emotions through a screen, that's tough.
And it adds a whole new skill set on top of everything else mastering the tech. Video calls, online platforms, digital record keeping. The job description just got a whole lot longer.
It's like the field just did a level jump in a video game, huh? Okay, let's get practical. The guide outlines different career stages, entry level up to principal. Let's pick one, break it down. We're talking about someone just starting out, so how about that junior mental health support worker level? Day to day, what are they actually doing?
Well, according to the guide, you're not just fecking coffee. Think conducting assessments, creating those personalized treatment plans we discussed, even running therapy sessions. All with supervision, of course. This isn't the Wild West.
Wow, okay, so you get thrown right into the mix. That's a lot of responsibility right off the bat.
Right. And to really paint a picture, they include this example profile. A junior mental health support worker already has their master's in counseling psychology, is certified in cognitive behavioral therapy, and they're taking a very active role in client care.
So they've got the theory down with the masters and a specific approach with the CBT certification. That makes sense.
Exactly. They're taking all that book smarts and turning it into real-world action assessments, treatment plans, even facilitating group therapy.
It's like they're not just learning the ropes, they're already out there sailing the ship.
Right. And that's what's so great about this RoleCatcher guide. They don't just drop all this career path info on you and peace out.
Right. They actually help you land the job, which, let's face it, is pretty important.
Yeah. So they have this tool, and think of this, it analyzes job descriptions.
Oh, yeah, I was checking that out. It's like a cheat code for resumes, right?
Basically. You upload your resume, and it compares it to the job description, tells you what skills to highlight, even if there are any gaps, things you might need to work on.
So it's personalized, like a roadmap, telling you how to make your resume perfect for that job.
Exactly. No more generic applications, you're speaking their language.
And then the real test, the interview.
Yeah, the interview. Although RoleCatcher has your back there too. 120,000 interview questions across all kinds of fields, positions. It's a lot.
Talk about interview prep. So how's it work? Is it just random questions or what?
No, they're organized by career, skills, experience level, the whole shebang. So you're prepped for exactly the kind of questions they'll ask in this field.
Okay, makes sense. So for mental health support specifically, any curveballs we should know about?
Well, the guide highlights this one question. Seems simple, but it's really insightful. How do you approach building a positive rapport with clients?
I see. It's not just about what you know. No. It's how you are, right? You can't really fake that.
Exactly. It's about showing those core values we've talked about. Empathy, listening, being genuine, maybe even a quick story. A time you really connected with someone struggling something real.
Showing them, not just telling them.
Right on. And before we wrap up this deep dive, the guide also talks about certifications, things that can give you an extra edge.
Like a specialized skill set that says, I'm serious about this, I've gone the extra mile.
Exactly. One that's really relevant is the Certified Mental Health Counselor Credential, the CMHC. Shows you've met the standards, got the knowledge, all that.
It's like anyone can read a cookbook, but this proves you went to culinary school.
Perfect analogy. And speaking of commitment, the guide doesn't shy away from the emotional toll this kind of work can take.
Yeah, it's heavy stuff. Being there for people's pain, their struggles, day in and day out. Gotta have ways to recharge.
No doubt. So as you're considering this path, it's crucial to really think, how will I find balance? How will I keep that fire, that drive alive, even when it's tough? Because it's demanding, yes, but it's also incredibly rewarding.
It's about knowing yourself, what you can handle,
Yeah.
and having those support systems in place for yourself too, right?
100%. Because you're bringing your whole self to this work. Your skills, your knowledge, but also your heart. And that's what makes all the difference.
Absolutely. This has been an amazing deep dive, really eye-opening. If you're hearing this and thinking, this is me, this is my calling, well, maybe it is. And if you need help navigating those waters, check out RoleCatcher. They've got the tools, the insights, the whole 9 yards. Thanks for joining us on the deep dive, everybody.